Romance Writers Therapy. That's Marty B.
That's me.
And I'm Kate Pryor.
That's her.
I think I like that one best, how that one turned out.
That was a winner. That was like,
Now,
we
just need to do it exactly like that every time.
We should. I mean, it's cute and short. And like, best of luck to us. I think our intentions are in the right place.
Yeah, so tell me, okay, it's a little weird for listener, I think, because the way we're scheduling things is that we recorded our last couple of episodes so that, what do you call it? Well, so the 2 episodes ago, that our first day of NaNo so the episode would drop on the first day of NaNo,
yes,
even though we recorded it a few days before that happened.
Yes.
And so then what our kind of recording schedule has fallen into is that we record it and then a week later it drops. So
yeah. So like our episode that we recorded on the 1st went out on the 8th. And right now it's the 8th and we're recording for, I don't know, 7 days from now. You do math.
Yeah.
I don't do math.
I'm just kind of realizing.
Listener, you don't even have to do math. Just know the date. So.
Yeah. But so I'm thinking like, oh, so we're at a different place in our like current experience than wherever listeners gonna be at in their NaNo experience if they're doing it.
Yeah.
And
and like NaNo gets more intense later in the month.
It does.
For sure.
Well,
at least it does for
so
me.
We just no, definitely. We just literally said, oh my god, it's only the 8th and it feels like it's middle of November.
Mm-hmm. Well, but like the 8th kind of is the middle of the November. I mean, but you're right. The 8th, the 15th is 7 days from now, and that would be the literal middle.
Yeah. Well, so we're only the first quarter in.
Yeah. How was your first
but
quarter?
Listener's gonna hear this exactly halfway through.
Yeah, exactly. So listener has 7 days of knowledge on us.
Yeah, like 7 days of experience.
I know, you're so mature.
And wizened.
You've lived a life I have not lived.
I see a couple gray hairs, listener.
Listener, mine too. Don't worry about it.
Yours is cool, though.
Mine is badass. I love my grays. I mean, thank you, right?
Yeah, no, that's great. I think that's an acceptable way to take a compliment. Is like, yeah, I love it too.
So I last year did all the fun colors in my hair, right?
Ooh, yes, I remember the pink.
Has
it been a year?
It has. It was December 4th of last year. Isn't that
my
bananas?
God.
BANANAS. And I had people ask me, like, is it because of the grays? And I'm like, no, rude. Like, that's why I didn't do it for the longest time, because I wanted to keep my gray hairs. I just did it because I don't want to cut my hair, but I also needed something different. And now, my hair has toner and stuff in it. And so I have, like, a shampoo, like a purple shampoo. And so it's kind of like a dusty purple. It's fun. It's cute.
See, I've always done, like, a very dark red. Mm-hmm. Like almost a brownish red sometimes. Yeah. Although also bright cartoonish red. But the thing is, I'm kind of like a sort of dirty blonde.
Okay. I just cannot even picture that on you at all.
I know. It's been so long. I think a lot of people have forgotten that I'm not actually a redhead.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, your skin tone matches the hair color you choose.
Yes. You know how I know? My brother has a ginger beard, and my sister has red hair, and so I was like, you know what? I'll dye red. I'll go red. And then
hilarious.
My sister got so mad, and she was like, that's my hair color. And I'm like, yes, it looks better on me. You know how you talk to your sister?
I mean, I don't have a sister, but I would imagine I talk to her just like that. Yeah.
It's just one antagonism after another.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely my brother and I as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
But you were talking about...
We were going to talk about NaNo. I was going to tell you about when I let my roots grow in for a little bit because I was busy with other things. I took a selfie and I posted it. someone who I was friends with also had like a lot of gray hair, just like a shock of gray, like in a patch, and not distributed evenly.
Okay.
And I always really loved that about her hair, and it was natural. Like, she was just graying in this one spot, and even though she was so young, I was like, I love it. And someone else was like, oh my god, are you going gray? And I'm like, actually, that would be cool. Because I dig her hair and I would die for it.
Dude, I really appreciate, like, my dad's side of the family for giving me the hair. Like, the way they go gray is so pretty, and they just all have such full, lovely hair, you know?
Listen, it's just the dream to look like Rogue from X-Men.
I know! Dude, that did imprint a bit on me. Was like the Rogue with the shock of hair and...
Yes!
But like also like the 80s big hair. Like, did you ever watch like the cartoon of X-Men?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Rogue's
a bunch of different
freaking hair was amazing.
Yeah, no, it just is a beast of its own.
Oh my gosh, for real. Okay.
The way they drew hair in we're not gonna go down this road.
The way they... I know, but seriously.
We were gonna talk about NaNoWriMo.
Yeah.
We spent like
7 minutes on hair.
10 minutes. 7 minutes just talking about hair.
Listener, I hope you also love your hair.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, what's been going on? What have you been... How's the writing going?
Well, I'm back on my bullshit. Doing the shit I knew I was gonna do.
Because you switched projects, right? That's what you did? You switched projects?
I'm switching projects. I'm like in the middle of it. I'm doing a very weird switch in that I'm just kind of sitting here going, yeah, I'm switching and not doing anything.
Oh my gosh.
Because the thing is, it gets so weird about NaNo. I just, I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I wrote 10,000 on that project and now I'm going to do 10,000 on this project. Like, no, I can't. Especially if it's not even 10,000. What if it's like 5,682? You know, like it's a messy number and you can't do math with it either.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe other people's brains could do math.
Well, because like that's also a reason why I don't like word count goal. It's because so often I write in the wrong direction. And then I realize like, oh, this isn't the right way. And so now I have, 5,000 words that I'm fine cutting. But because of NaNoWriMo, like, I still have to include those in the word count, so then it just makes my, like, draft look goofy, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm just kind of weird about it, too. I love how we were like, we're gonna do NaNo, how'd day one go? And now, a week later,
now we're like,
but we're not really.
I'm kind of doing NaNo. See,
NaNo.
No, what I'm telling myself is because, if this book is gonna be part of if this is Gwen's book, which I did not want to do yet, I wanted to give myself a nice.
Yeah, but your idea
break.
is so cool.
Yeah, I do like it. I'm
so
trying to figure out like specifics. The thing is, these books are only like 30,000 words.
Yeah, Love Laugh Lich wasn't that big, right?
Oh no, Love Laugh Lich was 15,000.
Yeah,
possibly 17.
So yeah, I mean, the 30,000 word mark is kind of really fun to get to.
More than enough. And I'm sitting here like, well, what if I wrote a book in a month? And I'm like, that sounds like a disaster. Why would I do that? I don't have enough idea to work on right now.
You have so much going on. You always have so many like projects happening at once.
Yeah, and, I hate it. Why am I like this?
I mean, I would not be able to get anything done because like I need to like focus on one and make sure that one is moving and making progress and the story's developing, or else I'm going to lose interest in it entirely. Right?
That's what I'm doing.
I mean, now that I said that out loud, I'm like, God, I didn't have to call myself out so hard. Like the poor sequel to Truth or Dare, like that poor baby has just not been treated correctly. So but that is after this book. That is the one that's getting done. It's happening. Of course, I say that, but I'm also like, people are really excited about like the sequel to Just Big Married. Maybe that's the one I do next. So I don't want to put her on the back burner any longer, but like both books have to get written. So I think I might just kind of like see what feels right and do that.
Well, so like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, and also because like the two different projects were such different headspaces for me. Like, I wish I could just stick to a project and like feel like, I don't know, like I could run a mile with it, you know? And, you know, when I was working, like, finished Orc, and it was like, this is my mental permission to just go ham and write whatever I want on the werewolf thing I was working on. And I got a bunch of words down, and, you know, I just got so, not very far with it, but, like, I got a lot of ideas down that I really liked, and I wish I'd really channeled that energy into fleshing things out. But I got distracted because I had other things going on, and then I just did. And now it's like, oh, now I gotta find something and to work on it and hope that the energy comes back.
And that's my concern. I kind of feel like with Never Has She Ever, like I'm just, aside from the, you know, basic premise, I'm really just gonna kind of like feel its energy and just start over.
Well, so what I'm thinking, the thing that I feel like I'm struggling that's keeping me from starting Gwen's book, not just that I don't know what kind of like monster everyone is, that's probably a big thing, is that like I feel like I need like an idea that really, you know, taps into your id that you can kind of write towards. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. Okay, so when it was with Orc, I wrote the scene where they kind of bang it out on the side of the climax end of the book. Sorry, spoilers.
Which is like one of my favorite scenes. Oh my gosh, when you were reading that aloud to me and Rebecca, we were losing our GD minds.
God, I know. And I was so afraid that this scene was just going to be too weird to like put out into the world.
I remember you saying that, and like both Rebecca and I were like, don't hold back. This is incredible.
And like, you know, I like that scene was just completely like, I'm just gonna write from my id and write the most buckwild thing I can think of. And now I'm like, okay, I need to do that again so that I have something to write towards. But and then everything else becomes about making it to that. Yeah. Across the like building the pieces backwards in a way. Like here's the end point and here's how I'm gonna get there.
I like that.
Although I think the scene where Janice kind of elbows Kent in the face and like starts the mating bond thing, I think that did come first though.
I think it did
but
too.
Like that scene is its own kind of weird id excitement.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that it really just kind of plays into the way you like kind of awkward happenstance, right?
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm like, I don't have anything like that currently for and like the other things I'm working on. And you know, like when I'm trying with Handle with Flair, I'm trying to re-engineer the beginning. I'm like, oh man, it really takes a while to get to anything that juicy, you know?
That is where I'm at right now. I just want to start off.
Yeah.
Because that's my goal with my NaNo project, is to just really work like in my id, right?
Yeah.
And so when I was doing the intro and I'm like spending 800 words, you know, getting to know her and like setting the scene and like stuff like that, all that was important. But then I was like, okay, but like the whole point of this is for me to get to what excites me. So like what excites me? And so yeah, I kind of moved it forward a bit just for my own enjoyment.
Yeah. Cut out all the travel bits, all the I need to get from here to here, but I need to explain how I did that.
Well, I mean, I still did that. I just made it work in the story because I still write, you know, I'm still writing chronologically at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I just kind of put them together.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend recently who, you know, always tells me he's going to sit down and write a book. And I do believe in him.
Yeah, I understand.
I think he needs the time and motivation, and I don't know what those circumstances look like for him. like, I think, you know, it's the right set of circumstances that puts you in the mindset that, okay, I'm finally ready to do this.
Well, I think what's really hard is when you sit down to do it, you don't know what your process is until you start trying.
Yeah.
And so I think that people get really discouraged when it doesn't turn out right and they don't know how to get from point A to point B and like stuff like that. Exactly. I think that people get really discouraged and give up as opposed to realizing like, okay, this is not my process. What's a different way for me to do this? What way would excite me here? You know?
Yeah. And I want to make it clear this is different than sitting around waiting for inspiration versus sitting down every day.
Yeah.
Because those things that's its own can of worms.
Yeah.
This is knowing your process, is knowing like the specific set of circumstances that you work best under and what you can do to recreate those processes.
Yeah. I think that, you know, just from doing it once, you get to a point where you're like, okay, I can trust myself to do this again. And the more that you do it, even if you realize, because when I look back on my process, there's a couple of things that stay consistent. Like I've really learned, like I can't plot. Like it's just not gonna work for me, right? But like I've learned things that do work for me. But they really, every single book has had a different process in actually writing it. And some of it was because, you know, like Truth or Dare, like it was this short story that just kept on getting bigger, banded together. Like it got written, but it was like when it was done, I was like sitting with it and I was like, okay, this is how the plot needs to be fixed. And so it's a huge upheaval that's come in my way. And I need to get that one done. Like it's just sitting there. But like every single book has had a different process. And I think that's just part of my process. You know?
Discovering what things do work and what things are not gonna work.
Well, and then also there's a trust that you form just by doing. But okay, so you're saying we were hanging out the other day and he just kind of asked me out of nowhere, what do you think about starting in, there's a French word for it and I forgot what it was. It means, okay, it's actually, I think maybe it's Latin, in media res. Okay, that sounds Latin,
which is me, but... you know, it means in the middle of the action or something like that.
Okay.
And we talked a lot about it because we went to film school together. So it was something that, you know, film teachers always say, start in the middle of the action. And, you know, I think in, you know, different mediums require different techniques. I think they can make use of all the same techniques, but some, you know, and also like genre will really depend. He kind of asked it as like a blanket question, like because he had listened to a podcast or a YouTuber or something that said starting in the middle of the action is bad because it means you're not confident in your world building. And that seemed like such a
blanket statement. That's an
weird blanket statement to say. And it's like, I guess if it like, it really depends on genre. Like I can see starting with a lot of like history and backstory when you're doing like a huge sci-fi, you know, or like a huge fantasy. And you need that, you know, to build the world a little bit before you can dive in, because you can't just say, hey, we're here, and then people don't really know what to like picture, you know, they don't really know the world that they're in and what is important.
Well, and I think also like starting in the middle of the action can look different. I will say I've heard lots of complaints from like editors, publishers, and agents about like books that start with people running because it's just kind of like a cliche at this point, but also like it doesn't give any information. They're just running. Are they running from? Are they running to? Like stuff like that. Now, meanwhile, I did start a book with people running, but
well, so I do think, I wonder if there's maybe like a slight difference in what they're talking about. Because like I know your book, they're going for a job. They are running together.
Exactly.
Running buddies,
so I think what they mean is more so like starting with people being chased or chasing, right?
And the thing is, I remember so clearly picking up a book that started out with like it was like I think a middle grade book because I was younger. But I remember being so entranced and just utterly like, yes, this is such a great opening.
Yeah.
Because the character was running and I didn't know what they were running from, but they were so terrified, and every little detail really stuck out because it's like they can't give me anything. Because they're busy running.
Yeah.
And it was like, to me, it was like, yes, this is the perfect way to start a story.
Well, and I think that,
but, yeah,
you know, that's one of the reasons why it's used.
Yeah, no, there are, like, I think you could pull it off if you do it well, but
that's the case with like everything they say never to do is like, do it better than everybody else and do whatever you want, you know, like.
Yeah. But then again, that's so easy to say, like, do it better than everyone else, but you don't know if you did it better than everyone else. You don't know if you did a mediocre job. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so hard to, like, do the self-judging thing because you are so afraid of, like, being hubristic and, like, thinking, oh, yes, I'm so good. I'm so on top of this and I'm better than everyone else. You know, that kind of thinking, because then you're just gonna, you know, and then what if you're, like, really, you're just kind of mediocre and you think you're so great and then everyone else can see it, you know?
Okay, that has been, like, the story of my life and what has sandbagged me forever, right? Like, anything I'm good at, I have, like, then twisted to, well, so-and-so thinks they're really good at it and they're really not, right? And so I think that it's really important to be able to self-edit. I think it's really important to be able to, like, see. But also, like, I'm just really embracing, like, I can see that I'm very good at certain things. You know what I mean? Like,
well, so I think that's where it is. Like, being able to, there's such a difference between going, yeah, I'm great overall, everything I do is magic. And you know what? This passage was really great. This is something I'm good at. I'm fantastic at ending chapters on a cliffhanger.
Dude, that is a skill, and I am working on it. This is,
but like, because those kinds of things.
That's one of the things that this NaNo project is challenging me with, is like ending on a cliffhanger because of the intention of releasing it serialized, right?
Yeah.
And man, that is something I'm working on. Is like, what is a cliffhanger?
Yeah, because you gotta save the juiciest thing until, like, you know, something that makes your reader catch their breath and go, oh my god, I need the next one.
Exactly. I have really great, like, reviews from people of, like, I should be working, but I'm reading this book instead. Or, like, I just could not put it down. And that's awesome. But, like, I don't really know what the essence is of what I've done that made that happen.
Yes, you know what I always, whenever I give my pages to somebody, whether it's a beta reader or it's a alpha reader, anybody, I wish I could hand them a little, like a highlighter and some instructions and be like, just highlight the thing you liked best. If it made you laugh, highlight it. If you like this line, highlight it. Like, I just want to know the things you liked.
Tell me, so I can be like specifically what engaged you, sort of thing.
Yeah, and like, obviously no one's gonna do that when they're, you know, if they're beta reading, they're kind of just looking for things that are wrong. I mean, they're enjoying your story too, but they're also kind of keeping an eye out for.
Well, and then also, like, I want these people to engage with it as readers and not be thinking of, like, the service they're doing me as much as, like, what are they ingesting? So, you know, I like to ask, like, when I'm telling beta readers, like, hey, will you read this? And they're like, is there anything specific you want me to look for? I will be like, I'll ask you those questions when you're done. Right? Because if I ask them, now they're looking for it. And so it's going to be there more than it would be if they were just reading it for the sake of reading.
Yeah. But I think also, you know, when we do our little chapter shares in our group, and I know I always start my chapters off and I'm like, this is a thing I'm anxious about. Please watch it. Like hit a buzzer once you see it. Something like that. And I think the question is something like, let me know when the moment it gets too much this. Yeah. And then you guys are like, yeah, it did get to that part. Here's how you can scale it back.
I mean, but how many times have we been like, no, not at all? Right?
Yeah, you guys do say that too. And I'm like, okay, I'm just an anxious wreck.
Because, like, I had a scene in Just Fake Married that when I sent it to the beta reader and she was reading it, I had 2 questions for her. And one of them was like, does this moment of like reflection work, or does it slow down the scene? And she was like, upon second read, yes, but the first read, without you having asked that question, not at all. And so it ended up staying the way it was because as a reader, it worked. And so I was wrapped up in my like hyper fixation. And I just really
into it.
Yeah, I just needed a reader's perspective on it. And a critical reader, not just anyone, a critical reader, right?
Well, so yeah, I think there's like definitely different types of readers, or just, I don't want to say people are different types of readers.
Yeah.
I think they're different moods to read in.
Yeah.
Like moods where like you already know you enjoy this, or you're not in a critical mood, so you're open to receiving everything and just reading it and enjoying it for what it is. And then there's moods of like, I need to tear this apart.
Well, the way I read as a beta reader and the way I read as a reader is different. You know?
Is it? I feel like you always tell me I'm having a really hard time.
Well, for one
not
thing,
being critical. No, I'm kidding.
No, it's fair. I am always critical. I will never say I'm not. As a beta reader, I have formed the opinion of like, this is my opportunity to help them customize this book for me. And so I'm more open to like sharing my opinions. And I think my opinions are right. You know?
I think your main character should have a beard because it would work better for the plot.
Jesus, not that way. It'd be better for the plot. You know, I would find him more sexy if he was shorter. Like,
your heroine should look like me. Just, you know what I'm saying.
But like, you run into your pet peeves in like, in the beta reading process. I can tell them like, hey, this made me pause. I've seen this in other things, and you know, this is the way I interpret this behavior, you know, stuff like that. You know, the things that cause me to DNF so many books. But the things that cause me to DNF so many books, I can confront them in the beta reading process and try to get less of them published that way, you know? I always want my friends to like publish the book, or the people I beta for. I always want that to happen, but you know, I just get to be more specific about like the things that would cause me to put the book down.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what beta reading is, right?
I'm such a picky reader that like and especially once I get into a picky mood, I just start, you know, being like, that's no good. That's no good. I don't like that either. This paragraph is bad. You know, like it. And then I don't want to beta read that way, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know, make someone feel like I've shredded their pages because...
Well, I'm also really quick to tell them...
feeling to be on the end on. But also, like, it doesn't actually reflect how the story reads. It's more of a reflection of my mood.
Well...
Which is...
I'm also careful to make sure I'm saying positive things as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, those things matter. Like, telling someone the things that they do well, for one thing, not only makes it easier to receive the criticism, but also, like, if someone's doing something well and you want to see more of that in the book, tell them. You know, like...
I think that's what's so hard to do, because it's like, it's identifying what you're enjoying and putting that into words.
Okay, so this is really interesting, because I've been looking a lot into, like, mindset and stuff like that. But, like, the reason why we fixate, because I've wondered this for so long, like, why do we fixate on the negative? So much easier than we fixate on the positive. And it is because of survival, right?
Yeah.
Like, you had to be able to, you know, fixate on the risk around you in order to keep yourself safe, right? Like, I'm talking, you know, caveman time, whatever, right? So that is something that we have continued to keep, even though it doesn't serve us the same, like, evolutionary purposes.
Just, like, the whole stress reaction, like...
Exactly. And, like, why, like, when we hear a compliment, it doesn't stick with us the same way we hear criticism. Right? And so it's just really interesting. But it's also, like, why we don't trust that we're great at something and, like, stuff like that, you know? Like... There's the line, like, there is no tiger.
Yes, I was just thinking about the tiger thing.
Yeah, I love that so much.
If listener doesn't share a brain the way we do, across several states,
Jude is just so not convinced that you don't live here.
The tiger thing is like this. Humans are persistence predators, I believe the word is, which means that even though we can't run as fast as a tiger, we can maintain a steady pace for days, or at least our caveman counterparts could.
Yeah, I know.
And that was
let's not test that, okay?
Yeah, I don't think I could do that.
I mean, I do feel like I could walk a really long time.
I have done quite a bit of walking in my day. I don't think I could do it now. But like, I've done quite a bit of walking.
I love walking.
You know, and like you go to Disney World, you walk around all goddamn day.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
Nothing feels better than like the day after of like doing that much walking. It's like the best feeling. Like I feel like, man, I just did like activity I enjoy, and like my body feels so refreshed. Like I love it. Anyway.
Man, when I did go to Disney and we spent like 3 days walking nonstop everywhere, everything was so far apart, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have the best legs when I get back, and I'm gonna do so much more walking, easier walking uphill.
And then you got COVID?
And then I got COVID and I stayed in bed for 2 weeks straight. Lost all that muscle mass.
And it's really hard to manufacture like a day at Disney, you know, like that much walking.
I don't know. But okay, so we're
talking about the tiger, Kate. Tell them about the tiger.
Yeah, so the tiger is like if you're being chased by a tiger or you're chasing the tiger. I don't remember. No, okay, no. So as a persistent predator. No, wait. The persistence predator thing, I think, is actually unrelated. Maybe you should tell it.
Because you took it in a different direction right off the bat.
We don't share brain cell. The signal bad.
No, basic signal good. Details are hazy. Okay. So
no, I just conjoined these two thoughts and I was like, yeah, they're related, and then it's like, actually they're not. I was gonna explain one before I did the other, and then I lost it.
I mean, I'm still interested in us being persistent predators. But okay, so there is no tiger is like the idea that like our fear is a response to life-threatening predators, really predators.
I think.
So like
I think there's a tiger in the grass.
Yeah. So fear causes adrenaline, which allows you to run faster for longer and all this stuff, right? To get away from the predator. But in our modern day, fear still exists. We still experience all of the side effects of fear, but there is no tiger anymore. And so
tigers don't exist.
Yeah, at least, most people don't get chased by tigers, right? Tigers still exist.
Do they?
I think so. I've seen some. But so the idea is, when you feel fear, remember that it's your body's response to something that isn't really real, right? Like fear is real. And so you calm yourself down and you decide what to do and don't let your fear run you.
Well, so what you're supposed to do in that, and like we just did this in yoga recently, is like clench your entire body up, like your jaw, your hands, your everything, every muscle you can think of. Hold it for like 5-10 seconds and then just release. And that will help, get rid of, like, move the adrenaline past.
Oh, that's interesting. I never knew that. I do know that, like, that's why physical activity is still really important in our lives, because we feel all of these natural responses and the fear and the stress will get stored, right?
Yeah, It, like, if you don't have a release for it,
exactly,
then it just stays there.
So, like, that's why being physical is another part of, mental health, is because it helps you, release all those stress hormones and stuff like that. Yeah.
But that's just, like, a fun trick you can do if you feel like you're really stressing out and you need to, like, take a breath and you can't get yourself there through like breathing exercises. Because those are it's hard to like have that kind of mental
breathing is
control
and breathing is like one of the breathing through like anxiety and stress,
like the box breathe thing. Yeah,
I mean that's one of those things that like when you're aware of like I'm breathing to calm down, like it helps my brain. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does? I feel like whenever I'm like, I'm having a hard time and I'm gonna do the breathing exercise and I'm doing them and I'm like, why isn't it working? And it's like, you know, I don't know. I feel like it's hard to get to the do it long enough to get to the place where it's actually gonna help you.
Yeah. For the most part,
especially
it's
when
like
you're
a
waiting on it.
control thing. So my brain, like by breathing, I'm telling my brain I have control over this, and it makes me feel more confident and like actually allows my body to chill. But so NaNo.
Okay, so NaNo. I was thinking we should do like at least 10 more minutes of like actually talking about our NaNo.
I think so too. Yeah. So should I tell you how things are going for me?
Yeah. We'd love to hear that. At the top of our episode.
So I am almost done with the second like segment. I'm only like 5,000 words in. But like I'm okay with it. Like I really am okay with this amount of progress. I'm better than okay. I'm happy with this amount of progress, right? Like it's not the numbers that like NaNo would say I need right now, but I'm still happy with how the scenes are coming together, with the experience of writing it too. Like it is just a very different set of goals I've put in front of myself, you know. Really wanted to finish this scene this morning, but like I'm like finding that cliffhanger and then essentially like what is the next scene? Like I need to figure that out like tonight so I can wake up in the morning and write it. And that's what's going on with me.
That's, I think, a good plan. I'm glad you're doing your own pace. I know that's like the opposite of what you said you were gonna do.
Well, you know, I knew my goals were like I would love to hit this, but I don't see this happening without me neglecting other things in my life. And I don't see me accepting that neglect well. Right? So this was actually what I anticipated happening. I don't know if I clearly gave a different impression, right? But this was what I anticipated happening. I would like to have this done by the end of December. Like I would like to have this book done by the end of December. So instead of doing NaNoWriMo, I'm essentially spreading it out between 2 months. That makes sense? Yeah. Because that would be, I think, like 10 months total is kind of my thought. So it wouldn't be end of December. It'd be into January. But like, that's my thought.
That's like 4 months, right? 3?
No, it's 3. It'd be like 2.5, really.
Where did you get 10 months from?
Or I'm sorry, 10 weeks.
Okay, I was like, cool. 2 months, 10 months, 10 months.
Where are we at?
That's one hell of a NaNo.
One hell of.
You'll be back at NaNo once you're finished.
So more so like the advice you were giving of like, make sure you're not burning yourself out. Like that's kind of where I'm at, where this is still a bit faster paced than I normally write. It's definitely a less, I don't want to say thoughtful draft than normal, but it kind of is.
Sometimes that's how it is. Sometimes it's like, this had less planning in it and it's more of a fun read because of it. Yeah. It is a sustainable fast pace for me. Okay, that's good. So it's kind of been like 1,000 words a day is like what's been happening 5 days a week sort of thing. That's really good. Yeah. I dig it. I do too. I think I might switch to that kind of a goal because the project I was working on, because it was a book that was already written, it was 80,000 words, and it was just about rewriting parts of it, and just enough of it that, like, it could change the setting and some of the plot, but not the whole plot, and it was like, I can't really, like, I'm having such a hard time measuring what I've added in, like, what I've written today, what already existed, what I took out because I'm constantly cutting and pasting chunks, and it's like I don't want to open one of those before and after documents and like do all the counting, and because that's just extra labor I just I don't have time for. And for a fun project, it was hard to keep it, like I've been struggling to keep track of what my nano progress is against like the actual progress of refurbishing this story, you know? And that was really getting me down. Like, I can't tell where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like, all over the map. And so it didn't feel like I was even doing nano. It just felt like I was fucking around. And so I'm thinking, I don't even know if I'll go through with this, which I feel like is the magic words that I will do it now. Like, I don't know if I'll do it. And those are the magic words to make me not do it.
You need a seed of doubt to be like, I'll prove to you I'll do it. You know what I mean?
I need like such a specific set of circumstances of is she or is she not gonna do it? And
that's so funny.
But I think, because I think if I did 1,000 words a day for the next 20 days, maybe if I did like 1,200, I could at least get like close to 30,000 words. No, 1,000 words a day. It sounds like a great challenge.
And again, it's like it's a fast pace for me that is sustainable. Like I can do this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the goal for me in this process is like, how can I anticipate my productivity better for like the rest of the year? And because I want to plan out. Oh, we should totally do a planning, like a year planning episode conversation.
Yeah, you should teach me how you do that because I got no idea how that works.
Okay. I mean, I did it last year and it didn't work out to plan. But
whenever you tell me about your plans, I just sit there and I'm like, wow, she knows how, like, and this is not a sarcastic, I'm like, wow, she really understands a calendar, which, because I fucking don't.
Yeah, I get that though.
Like, in theory, I do, but I'm like,
But in application, because, like, what I run into is, like, I let it go. Like, it's not like I hold myself to my unrealistic expectations. But I have unrealistic expectations of, like, how much I can produce, how much, how much each work is going to take, right? And so, like, that's something I struggle with. And so I would really like to have a better understanding of, like, how many words in a year is reasonable to expect from me. And then also a better understanding of, like, how many words each book is going to take. Because that's the other thing with Never Has She Ever. I feel like there's too many constraints on it. Like, it's the second in the series that really needs to feed off of the first and build the next and be 30,000 words and be, idea. Like, there's too much. There's too much. And so I'm like, you know what? I can make this whatever length it has to be. And so, like, that was one thing that, like, I let go with that one was, like, if it's a novella, it's a novella. But if it's a full novel, it's a full novel. And, like, I feel a lot better about writing it without that expectation on it.
That's good. I mean,
yeah.
Some things I feel like you need to, I know if everyone's always like, okay, I'm going to use the metaphor right out of the, like, work outside of the box or whatever. But I feel like working in that kind of infinite possibilities really scares people. You know, the terror of a blank canvas. And it's like, what do I do? Where do I start? Jesus. And having, like, a little bit of a box can really help you know where you want to start and kind of bloom out of it. Yeah, and having too much of it will, like, really stifle you.
Yeah. Because, like, that one, there were too many restrictions. And, like, I don't understand the fear of a blank page. I can start anything. I can start anything, Kate. It is the middle and the end that I struggle with. Right? Like, you tell me, like, hey, here's a blank Word document. Start writing a novel. Like, I got you an open. Like, I can do this. I have written so many beginnings. I know exactly how to do this. It's the beginning, it's the middle and the end that I need to get better at. And so I'm happy with the start of Never Has She Ever. And I think I'll keep at least some version of that. But it's all the other things that poor little book just hasn't gotten the love she needs. And I have had too much pressure on getting it written. I think that has to be the next one after this. That's what I think. I also think I would love to release every 4 months, but I think I might still kind of clump the way I do, right? At least the way I have. Because I'll probably like sit with the NaNo project when it's done before launching into writing it, like into editing it, and like write Never Has She Ever, write a short story, and then go into editing it. Does that make sense? That's kind of where my mind's at.
Yeah. I feel like last year, so what I did was I don't even know, like I knew all along that I wanted to release on like in October, and kind of had a vague idea that I wanted to finish and put out into the world the little Regency story I did.
Meet Me at the Anvil?
Yes, because it was, so close to being done already that I was like, I just want to finish it and then kick it out of the door. And that just kind of ended up being a springtime release. Like, there wasn't planning between, like, a whole lot of planning between the two. But it was kind of like, oh, wow, I would like to get these done. And then they got done. And I was like, okay. Oh, no, I just don't think I could fit a third book into a year.
I don't know. I think one of the benefits of like kind of writing drafts and then editing drafts, right? Like writing multiple books in a row and then editing them all is you don't have the gear shifting between.
Yeah.
Like your brain is set up for the creative process of writing and you kind of get those all written, and then your brain is set up for the process of editing. And so like that skill gets really, because sometimes it's really hard to go back and forth. Right?
It is. That's its own episode, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Kate, do you want to give a piece of writing advice? Or are you just fully like, I was stupid in the past, I don't want to do it anymore?
No, I don't have much to go on. I think understand your writing process is a good one, because sitting here talking with you make me realize, I need to sit down and figure out what the id is for this book, and then that's where the rest of the story is going to come from, because I tend to build around that.
Yeah, I like that.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and then like my id tends to be like a bunch of micros.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So like the building of attraction, the not admitting it to themselves, the realizing it's like there for themselves, the pressure to act on it, like all these things, like those are all parts of my id. And so it's not like any one scene, but it's all like sprinkled through.
Yeah,
right?
I get you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like an id is like one chapter,
no.
like contained here, and then like everything else is born leading up to it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like, I don't know, like I'm working backwards from something, and there are exciting things and other micro ids that happen along the way, but they're not centered around a thing. Or they weren't. I'm losing myself. Okay.
So
Forget me.
Piece of writing advice.
You don't have one.
I feel like there's got to be one in there somewhere.
Yeah, shake your head.
Confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah. Hey, look. Just accept that you're awesome. Just accept that you're awesome, and that everything that tells you like, oh, it's vain, oh, I should be more humble, like this and that, it's all bullshit. You're awesome. Have some confidence. There is no fucking tiger, man. We got this. Kate, where can they find you?
NaNoWriMo is a tiger.
NaNoWriMo is a tiger.
This is the tiger that has been following you.
It's the
your persistence predator.
The tiger is the cream
your
of
1,000
the
words
fight.
a day.
I really liked you. Like, were you being the electric guitar?
Yeah.
I loved it. That was beautiful.
I think it was also on a different verse than you were.
I think so too, but I don't know that song very well. So.
Oh, yeah. You did a pretty good job with it.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So, Kate, did you tell them where you are? No, you didn't tell them. Because then I interrupted you with Eye of the Tiger. I'm in New Jersey.
Well, so Twitter is collapsing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, I agree.
We'll see in a week.
I agree. I'm really...
It's totally collapsed. Well, like, just because, like, he bought it.
Yeah.
And every post is about dunking on him, which is nice. I do enjoy that. But it's also like, yes, everyone's leaving.
Yeah. Well, and like, I think we talked about this last time. No, I talked about this with someone else.
Someone else?
Well, because I did that interview.
Yeah, I figured.
And we were talking about, like, you know, your social media and like the things you do and all this and that. And when you talk about like someone going viral, it tends to be like on TikTok or Twitter and not on the others, right?
Yeah.
And so like I see the importance of having a reach that can grow big.
Yeah.
And so my brain is just like, you know what? Just do the TikTok again. It's okay. Like, sort of thing. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's like I'm able to step into it with confidence, and then after doing it for a little while, I'm like, but I'm scared. So
yeah. I think, what do you call it? Brain. I don't know. I always hear people, like, the thing that, you know, a lot of people have said is, like, it's so important to have a newsletter that you can hold on to your audience.
Yeah.
You know, when your social media platform that you have a lot of followers on collapses.
Yeah.
And now Twitter is collapsing.
And you feel
I'm seeing a lot of people mourning their, you know,
engagement.
My 10,000 followers.
Yeah, exactly.
Going to be gone. And, you know, I don't have 10,000 by any means, but...
No, me either.
You know, I'm also a little bit like, dang, all this work I put into this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I also really fucking hate newsletters.
Well, this is another episode, too.
That's a whole other episode.
Okay, so...
I know you like you're really into your newsletter.
I enjoy it.
I don't mind designing a newsletter every now and then, because like, I have to do it for work, so it's like, I know how to do it. But I don't like doing it, and it feels weird to me. Like, I feel like I'm just kind of talking into the void about nothing.
See, but like that's how I feel about like Twitter and like TikTok a lot of times. On Instagram, I have formed engagement, right? Like I have people that interact with me, that chat with me. Like I have formed engagement there, and it's minimal, guys, but it still happens, right?
Well, but so what I'm just trying to get to is that just personally, I don't like receiving newsletters. Also, you know, like I'm just a very anti-email. Like if you couldn't tell from my book that I don't like email.
That's so funny. Okay, Kate, we should tell them who we are.
Yeah, no, we should. I just want to finish my thought.
Okay.
The advice people always say is have your newsletter because Twitter or your social media could collapse. And I want to tweak that advice to diversify your platforms. You know, have a Twitter, but also have an Instagram. I know having a lot of social medias can get draining. But I think putting a little bit of work everywhere, everywhere that you enjoy it, everywhere that you feel like you're actually making, you know, a dent.
Well, and I think that that's part of it is like maybe not one, but two, right? So if you're doing Instagram and TikTok and something weird goes on with TikTok, you still have the Instagram people, right? And so I think that's another conversation about like funnels. Right? Of like, how do you have like the grabbing of people, and then how do you funnel them into all the other places and actually into like purchasing? Definitely.
And I think like,
okay.
So anyway, so our different funnels that you can find us at.
You go
Marty.
first.
Oh, me.
Oh, you want to say me?
Me? You.
Me. You.
Me? Okay. Brain cell.
Brain cell, come back.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at by Kate Pryor. I would like to add on that if you're one of the many people learning about Mastodon, I hate saying that name because I always feel like I'm about to say masturbate.
Yeah, absolutely. What is Mastodon, my friend?
Well, it's a type of like prehistoric elephant, I think.
No, I know what a mastodon is.
Oh, okay.
I fucking love you.
It's also kind of like a prehistoric internet. No, I don't know. It will remind you of the older internet.
Okay.
Because it's designed like the old internet.
Okay.
A little
bit. So
it's
meant to like make us feel like it's home.
Yeah. Did you say at home or it's home?
It's home.
Home. Yes, I think it's a very different experience, but okay. I will explain it to you off the episode.
Okay, should I tell them where I'm from, or is there? Oh, you want to say something about it?
Let me just. I'll just finish the thought.
I'm the worst.
So no, you're good. I'm the one who's like stuttering through my thoughts and trying to connect them very badly. You can find me, and there are different servers, so you have to sign up in specific servers. As it works, you can look up how it works. But the one you can find me at is Romancelandia. Okay, so it's literally just romance, then land, then ia.club. And that's the server. And you can find me at by Kate Pryor there too. If you want to hang out, if you're a romance reader or writer or editor or just anyone who's like really into the romance-o-blogosphere, you know.
Sweet.
I'm also on Smutlandia, but that's taking its time to it's getting off the ground.
That sounds like fun. I'm gonna look at it.
Yes, I'll show you how to do that.
Yeah, thank you. So I am at Marty the author on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And Just Fake Married just came out when this comes out. Gosh, I am like sounding. Yeah. I am sounding like everyone's Midwestern mom. Just Fake Married just came out.
Married. Don't you want it?
I made a celebratory casserole with it.
Gotta get that side of ranch in there.
Yeah, the celebratory.
Celebratory ranch.
Celebratory ranch.
Okay. We popping bottles. I could not do the Midwestern on that. I'm sorry. I failed.
Popping bottles.
Yes.
Okay.
Make that my ringtone.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, but you can find me there. And Just Fake Married is awesome, and I love it, and I am so excited for everybody to read it. So, Kate, is there anything else you want to talk about?
That's it. We're all talked out.
We're all talked out.
Done.
Listener, continue with the NaNo, and we love you. Okay, bye.
Yes, we believe in you.
Bye.